Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. If you're new here, my name is Emily and I make cruise and travel videos, and today I am taking you through every single excursion available on my P&O Cruises Belgium and Netherlands cruise in March 2025. I have booked on P&O Iona and I am travelling solo. If you haven't done so already, do check out the video that talks you through everything you need to know about this cruise, as well as all the videos that are to come. Other videos I've done, so you've got all the details video, you've got the check-in process, the booking entertainment and the restaurant process, and now this video is talking about the excursions. So I'm going to go through all the excursions available on this cruise and show you what type of excursions are available with booking through P&O, and showing you the type of prices that you can expect to pay with a P&O excursion. As a bit of a heads up, a P&O excursion, sort of the same as most cruise lines. If you are on that excursion and that excursion is late back to the port, then the ship will wait for you. But if you're late to get back on that coach, it may not. So if there is a problem with the transport to get you back to the ship, then yes. If it's your own doing, then they won't wait. I have been on excursions before where the bus has left because the people haven't arrived at the bus back to the cruise ship in time, and then they have to make their own way back to the cruise ship, and whether they get there or not, that's on them. So just be very mindful with any port excursion, with any cruise line. Make sure you're giving yourself plenty of time to get back to the ship, and if you're told to be somewhere at a specific time to get your transport back, make sure you're there. So let's get into what options are available on my cruise. So from the webpage, we are going to go to the excursion section. Now with P&O, they say they do offer a 10% discount when you book excursions online rather than on board the ship. And I would always say that if you're booking an excursion, if there's a specific excursion you want, then book as early as you can, because there are some excursions that do sell out ahead of time and you would be disappointed if you couldn't get on board. So you go to the shore excursion section, or shore experiences, and it gives you all of them originally. So for the whole of our cruise there are 29 in total excursions available, split across Rotterdam and Zeebrugge. So we're in Rotterdam for 2 days and Zeebrugge for 1 day. I tend to then select the specific port and go through just what's available in that port. Now I'm not going to go through both days because they're exactly the same on both of them. So there's 18 available for Rotterdam. So the first one is the windmills. So it shows you the date, it shows you the price, it shows you what price is you pay if you book now, as well as the price that you would pay if you booked on board. So as you can see, there's a selection from the Hague sightseeing, the zoo in Rotterdam, Amsterdam on your own, introduction to Amsterdam, which includes a canal boat trip, and various other bits and pieces in Rotterdam. You've got a leisurely Rotterdam. There's also an accessible option, which is a good option if you have any mobility impairments. You can do the market hall, you can do cheese farm tasting and Gouda walking tour. So there is quite a selection. So what we will do is start right at the beginning with the windmills. It tells you it's on multiple dates, so that you can do this tour on either day that we're in Rotterdam. It tells you how much it's going to cost for an adult, a child or an infant, and an infant is usually free or nothing to pay. You've got the duration, the activity level and the destination. So this is windmills and wooden shoes symbolise the Netherlands. See the original windmills. So this is an option, so it tells you a bit about the tour itself, what you can expect, what you're going to see and do. Activity level is moderate and it's a 3.5 hour tour. If you go into the further details section, you're going to see that it's a half-day guided tour, moderate level of walking. It tells you the transport, so by coach and on foot, and it tells you what you're going to see and what's included. Always look at the essential information section. So it says this cruise excursion will be operated by coach and on foot. It tells you how much walking there's likely to be and the kind of terrain. This one, for example, there's going to be cobblestone streets. And that there are steep steps in the windmill, and then if for excursions that have taken place before, you do have sort of a rating as well. If you select to book, you can then select the day you wish to book and also the time you wish to book. So this tour, for example, has two times, a 9 AM and a 1:30 on the days we're in port, and then you see the time, you see the amount. If you're in P&O's Peninsula Club, then you will get a discount. So what you see on screen is going to be slightly less because of your discount. For example, mine is being discounted 7.5% because that's the discount level for the Atlantic tier. Next up, you've got Accessible Leisurely Rotterdam. So at the time it said there was only 2 spaces remaining. Adults only, this one, there isn't the option for children to go on it. £45 for an adult, 2.5 hours, and it's a low activity level. Again, it's going to tell you what's included and what you need to know. It isn't very often you see accessible tours, so they do happen. There is a note to say that with booking the accessible tour, do make, if you're going with somebody else as well, they have to book the standard leisurely tour or leisurely Rotterdam, and you would book the accessible leisurely Rotterdam. And it tells you about wheelchair information and things like that if applicable to you. Next up is the Discover Delft. I apologise if I butcher the pronunciation of that. So explore charming 17th century Delft, a city with a proud tradition of ceramics that date back centuries. You can see the cost for an adult is £45, children £22.50, and nothing for infants. It's a 3-hour, so half-day tour with a moderate level of activity, and it's done by coach and on foot, and is a guided walk, as well as free time in the centre to explore on your own. I always like it when there's an option to explore on your own. I feel like you can then do a bit more and just relax a bit. It tells you essential information about 45 minutes of walking on the tour. Next up, we have Windmills with Canal Boat. This is one I have personally opted to go for. So this is £88.20 for adults, £44.10 for children. It's a 3.5 hour half-day tour with a moderate level of activity, and it's a tour to see the windmills as well as a canal boat tour of the windmills as well. So transport is by coach, canal and on foot, and to enjoy a memorable canal boat ride past the timeless windmills of Kinderjik. I apologise again if I butchered that. What's included: local guide, photo opportunities, scenic drive and entrance into the World Heritage Site, which is really useful. So it just means that it's all included. I imagine there'll be souvenirs options so do take some money, but otherwise it's all included, or if you want to tip your tour guide. Approximately an hour and a half of walking on this tour over cobblestone streets and steep steps inside the windmill. So that is a tour I am doing, so definitely check that out in the vlog. I am opting to do it on the 16th, which is the second day, and again you can see the timing options there. You also have a pottery factory, the Blue Pottery Factory in Delft. Price, duration, activity level, all those bits and pieces. Essential information: wear flat comfortable shoes, always important. You then have a theme park, which is interesting. I didn't realise the Netherlands had a theme park, but there we go. This is quite an expensive tour, £134.10 for adults, £58.50 for children, but it is a 9-hour full-day excursion. Activity level is moderate because you're going to be running around that theme park. There's going to be a lot of activity. It's non-guided, so it is really the return journey to and from the theme park, and it includes your tickets. If you've done that one, let me know. I'm not particularly a theme park girly. 90 minutes each way, so an hour and a half each way, so you've got about 6 hours at the theme park whilst 3 hours is travelling. That is available on either day again, and a 9 AM start, so it's going to be a long day if that's something you're going to do. Next up, Rotterdam Zoo on your own. So again, this is just the transfers and entry to the Rotterdam Zoo. £88.20 for adults and £42.30 for children. It's a 5-hour excursion with, again, a moderate level of activity. Essential information, always read the essential information. Next up, explore Amsterdam by night. So because we are in Rotterdam overnight, you can explore Amsterdam if you wish to, or even Rotterdam at night. In fact, you could get off the ship when we dock and you could go away. You could spend overnight. Some people go to the SS, oh, I forgot what, SS Rotterdam? Is that what it's called? MS Rotterdam? There's a ship that used to be a Holland America Line ship, I believe. And you could go and stay overnight on that if you wanted. So you don't have to be back by a certain time, so you've got an evening in Amsterdam including the travel. But it is unguided, so it's just an evening to spend as you wish. Important to make a note of the time and departure information. The Hague sightseeing is up next, so if you're interested in seeing The Hague, the International Place of Peace and Justice, that is something to do. It's a half-day guided tour, moderate level of activity, by coach and on foot. 45 minutes of walking, that's not too bad, I don't think. That is £54.90 for adults. Then we've got Rotterdam Splash Tour, £72 for an adult and £36 for children. There's no infant information, so it doesn't look like infants are allowed. So if you do have young children, definitely something to check, because not all excursions are going to be suitable for young children. This is a 1-hour tour with a low level of activity. So if it's something, if you've got sort of older children but they don't really want to spend too much time doing an activity, or you want to fit it in with doing something else, that might be a good activity to do, just sort of get an overview of Rotterdam. But do mind the essential information. So there's steep steps without a handrail on the bus, which guests must be able to do independently, and there is a lot of information about activity excursions. I normally see these things on like the Caribbean ones, but there we go. Again, another option is Amsterdam on your own. So £62.10 for the transfers to Rotterdam, £30.60 for children and infants 0. It's an 8-hour full-day excursion, but it is the transfers to and from Amsterdam from Rotterdam, and then you're free to explore on your own. It's not a guided tour, so it's unguided and exclusive of lunch and entrance fees, so it is purely the transfers, but you will get a city map on the coach. Something I would recommend doing is, rather than making it look like you're a tourist, is if you are using a map to go somewhere, have Google Maps on your phone and put an earbud in, and that way your phone can go in your pocket. It doesn't look like you're looking at a map or your phone constantly for directions. It can just direct you if you don't have any hearing impairment. This is one I have booked, Introduction to Amsterdam, so it's £84.60 for adults, £42.30 for children and 0 for infants. It's again 8 hours, so it's a full day excursion, but this Introduction to Amsterdam offers a canal boat ride, which is included, plus you do have some free time independently, but then you do have your guide with you for a little bit of time as well, and you've got your transfers. So for me, as somebody who is going solo, this is the one I picked because I thought it gives me the best of both worlds. So knowing I have about 2 hours of free time, I'm not sure how much I'm going to get done, but stay with me and we'll see what happens on the vlogs. I've had a few friends visit Amsterdam really recently, and they've given me loads of suggestions for what to do. so we will see. So the journey to Amsterdam is approximately an hour and a half each way, so be mindful of that for the journey. And then there's approximately 2 hours of free time, so hour and a half each way, that's 3 hours. 2 hours of your time is 5 hours, so you've got about 3 hours with your guide, maybe. Probably a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. And then you've got the options for the time. So I think I've gone for the earliest time. I booked mine a little while ago, so I've got an 8:30 time for me. Next up, we've got Market Hall and Micro Brewery. I guess really hard to say for me. There's a minimum age applies, understandably, so you need to be age restrictions, so no children allowed, adults only. It's a half-day tour, so 4 hours, and again moderate activity level. It is a guided tour, so you get transfer from the ship, short walk to the market hall, free time at the market hall to explore, and then the coach to the brewery, and then a tasting. So if you're interested in trying beers of the Netherlands, something to do. Another one we've got to do is a selection of The Hague, Weermer Centre Delft, and Mauritius. I apologise if I butcher that. That's a full day tour, 7.5 hours, where you see a selection of things, high level of walking, so high activity level, and the itinerary is quite long, so it looks like you're going to get a lot into that excursion. Then we have Cheese Farm tasting and Gouda walking tour. Love a bit of cheese. This one I did a sort of favourite because I thought this was quite cool. £64.80 for adults. Prices available for children, and you can take infants. It's a 4-hour excursion with an activity level of moderate, and you get to go to a cheese farm and taste cheese, as well as a guided walking tour of Gouda. So that sounds really nice. If you love your cheese, definitely one to do. About an hour and a half of walking, so wear flat comfortable shoes. And final excursion available for your Rotterdam stop is going to be Leisurely Rotterdam. So this is the same as the accessible one. So if one of your parties needs an accessible activity, they can do the same one, which is really nice actually. So operated by coach with minimal walking, and it's a 2.5 hour excursion, so quite a short one. So that's what's available in Rotterdam. Then we're gonna go to Zeebrugge for Bruges if you're going. I don't think I'm going into Bruges because I have been on 3 occasions, I think. So we'll go through what else there is. So you've got Brussels on your own, so this is a bit further afield. It's a 4-day 8-hour excursion. It is the transfers to and from Brussels, and so you're going to have free time in Brussels to explore and do what you like. It's about 2 hours each way to Brussels. There will be you'll be guided to a designated meeting point and then left to your own devices. You've got, this one sounds really cool if you've got children, Bruges Game of the Goose. £54.90 for adults, £25.20 for children, and nothing for infants. 5 hour in duration. And discover Bruges on a fun and interactive guided walk specifically aimed at children. So this looks like a really fun activity, and it does say what ages it's going to be best for, which is children aged 6 to 10 years old. There's approximately 2.5 hours of walking, and you do get some free time to enjoy yourself. Bruges, if you haven't been, is such a beautiful city. I highly recommend going. Do a canal boat ride, do all the Brugesy things. A taste of Bruges, so this is going to include a canal boat ride for you, £88.20 for adults, children and infant prices available. A sort of half-day guided tour, 4 hours and 45 minutes. Moderate level of walking. Bruges, there's lots of cobblestones, go very carefully if you have any issues. I myself have broken my ankle whilst walking around Bruges, so just be very careful when you are walking. But this one includes a canal boat ride, which is something I just feel like you have to do it in Bruges. It's such a nice way to spend the day, and it's a beautiful city. You've then got the option to do Bruges on your own for a full day. So this again is just going to be your transfers to and from the ship. £49.50 for adults, £24.30 for children. It's a 7-hour trip. There's a guided transfer, so the guide will take you from the port to the designated drop-off place in Bruges, give you a map and then some information, and then you're off to your own devices with a set time to be back at that coach to get back to the ship. So if you're doing the on your own tours, make sure you're back at the bus stop at the correct time, maybe a smidge early, just don't be late. Another option is Bruges canals and free time. This is again a full day tour, but you get the canal boat price included. Interestingly, if you are doing the canal boats without the excursion, then they're all a set price. For all the canal boats are the same price, whichever one you go with, and you'll find there's a lot spattered around, and some will just be for specific like cruise line excursions, whilst others will be open to the general public. Essential information there as well. You've then got the accessible panoramic tour of Flemish countryside. Again, really nice to see that there's an accessible tour option. This was a tour I was thinking of doing, so the panoramic Flemish countryside, and I'm still debating it. If it's still available when I get on board, I may book just before, because there is I would like to do something whilst in Belgium. My other thing is to go to the closest town. This is something I was considering doing if you didn't have the greatest mobility, because you can do it both as accessible and as standard. If you're doing the standard option, £55.80, £27.80 for children, no infants by the look of it. As I say, it's only a 2-hour tour, low level of activity, and it's a scenic drive. So yeah, debating that. So there's two options, an 8:30 and a 11:15 one. So if I did the 8:30 one, be back by 10:30. Bruges on your own half-day tour. This is a tour I have done before, both with P&O and with Cunard, and it's 4.5 hours. Again, it's the guided transfer to and from the port into Bruges. You have a set time to be back at the coach. And really handily, the coach stop is the same for every single coach going into Bruges, and it's about a 10-15 minute walk from that coach stop to the main area. Again, they give you a map, just be mindful of the cobblestones. Another one to do is, this one is an expensive one I believe, Belgian chocolate making and free time. So £167.40 for adults, £83.70 for children, and you get to make your own Belgian chocolates. So it's a 5-hour tour, and yeah, high level of activity, but you get to learn how to make your own chocolate and take your chocolates home with you, which I think is a really cool thing to do. Certainly I've had lovely waffles. If you haven't already and you want to see what you can do in Bruges, whilst I did it on Cunard, definitely check out the Cunard Bruges day. It was a really fun day, and I give you a bit of a hint on where not to get waffles and where to get waffles. So lots of chocolate workshop experience, chocolates to take home, free time as well. So that's a good option if that's something different you want to do. Then you've got Bruges on your own plus bike, so that's £104.40 for adults. Again, these prices are all if you book online. If you book on a ship, they're going to be higher. This bike one is a 4-hour tour, so half-day tour, and you've got the option to go on bikes. It does say that children under 8 and pregnant women may not participate, and there is a safety briefing given, and cycle helmets are compulsory. So bear that in mind. You've then got the option of Bruges on your own plus Segway. So if you've ever wanted to do a Segway or you enjoy Segways, £104.40, adults only. You could do Segways, and that's a full day excursion, so 7 hours. High level of activity with the Segways, but then you do have some free time to explore Bruges on your own after you've done the Segways. And then last one is Ghent on your own. So Ghent is another medieval town in Belgium, and if you've already visited Bruges then Ghent is a good option. I would have liked to do this one, but I just wasn't as confident doing it entirely on my own. I would have liked something like the introduction to Amsterdam as a Ghent option, so I had a bit of free time to do on my own, but then I had the comfort of a group as well. But if that's not an issue for you, Ghent on your own might be a really cool activity. And there you go, that is all the shore excursions available on this 5-night cruise to the Netherlands and Belgium. Any excursions you really like the look of, any you've done before, let me know. If you have any questions, give me a shout and I will happily answer. But any cruise line excursion is going to be more expensive than the DIY do-it-yourself version, but you've got that added sort of comfort of knowing you're getting back to the ship. Also, I think on our particular sailing, the trains aren't going into Bruges on the day we're there, and there's no direct trains from close to the ship in Rotterdam to Amsterdam. It's a bit of a faff, so you may decide actually you'd rather do a cruise line excursion for that convenience, but you will pay more. The majority of the time I prefer the convenience and paying more, but there have been times I have done trips on my own. I think the ones we've done on our own most recently was when we were in Flom on the Norwegian Fjords cruise, and we booked the train directly with the train company rather than doing it through P&O, and the price was significantly cheaper. But we were very mindful that we booked an early slot. So that is all the excursions available on our 5-night cruise. The next video is going to be the pack with me, where I show you everything I'm taking on this 5-night cruise to Northern Europe, ultimately going to Belgium and the Netherlands. So I'll see you for that video. If you have liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all very soon.